Hey there folks, and welcome to this video, and here I'm going to be trying out something new in the world of sim racing. And much like when something like this happened recently with a car and a track being added to a sim racing title, I'm going to be comparing what are seen as two of the best games on the market for it. Oh, and bear in mind I'm probably going to offend some people because I've just referred to this thing as a game. The BMW M4 GT3 is now in ACC, and since it's been in iRacing for nearly a year, initially in its prototype phase, and now it's a fully fledged car, I figured, why not compare the two and see how they weigh up? I mean, time's not going to make too much of a factor. What I'm looking for is, well, what happens when I look around? How does it sound? And how does it feel? I'm only going to really go for one flyer because, well, Nürburgring I'm quite familiar with. I did 24 hours of it in this car. So, let's see, how does it fare? What I'm also going to do is have a look at, for example, the fuel gauge here is in kilos. I wonder if they changed it to litres in ACC. Because the thing is, in iRacing, they don't use kilos. They use litres or gallons, depending on if you're on metric or imperial. And tyre pressure's in bar. So let's see if that changes to newtons or kilopascal or anything like that. So let's go for a flying lap. Let's see what we can do. One of the things I like about the M4 is TC on 5 is just so stable, but it's not to the point that it's really understeery, or that it just lets go. So we come across the line, brake at 100 meters for turn 1, miss the apex entirely. Now the Mercedes-Benz Arena, people's least favourite thing about this track. I mean, I know the actual 24 version doesn't use this bit. I like the arena, though. I actually do. It's, for me, a lot of fun. Largely because there are so many different lines you can take through it. It very much depends on your driving style as well as your car. Broad curves. Down to second there. Bit understeering through the hairpin. And yeah, I'm going to say I'm just using default setups. So in this I'm using the sprint setup that you see used in things such as the Fanatec GT3 fixed series. As we start to get a bit of understeer here. And yeah, I'll be using the default aggressive in ACC. Third. Oh, just about keeping it in the track limits. Around the final corner. What's it going to be? 57, 58? Oh, that's bad. A 59,199. I mean, in ACC, for example, I've done 56s in the Porsche. But then that is with, like, setups and everything like that included. So 51.1. Let's see what we have in store now when we look at something like, wow, ACC. And here we are now, ACC. BMW M4 GT3. Pretty alright, doesn't it? That Design 6 looks pretty alright, doesn't it? That way you've got that nice and accented there. It's got the M4 GT3 badge. I mean, this is largely beside the point, but... oh, let's see what the orc's like. This is the onboard, so we can see the race logic computer. You've got the pads there. The nice Fanatec wheel there as well. Rear-facing camera. M unit. Oh, your rear view mirror's over there. I don't think it says M4 GT3 on the doors of the ones in iRacing. I could be wrong. Don't really see it. Or with camera angles, no, camera angles. That was a mistake, but very funny one. There's a lot of UI changes though, which they're pretty alright. Oh no. We might need to cut back in a second. It's a bit damp in the Eiffel region. This is more like it. Let's just leave that as is. All I need to do now is I need to save a setup for just called like number 1 or something, because that creates a folder in my documents area. I like the top-down look though.
Green light. Go, go, go.
And it does convert it. Just now in litres. And it's got a TC off, whereas iRacing doesn't. Straight away, the sound is on the onboard a bit more. You can really hear like the upshifts and the downshifts. Let's listen to outside. It's definitely bassier. It's got a proper grumble to it. A lot of the corners feel relatively the same. ACC's got a new tyre model as well, so it's my first time trying that out, so not going to be purely representative. One of the things I find quite interesting, brake bias there, 58.7. In iRacing, a good brake bias is 50-50. And we saw the TC was at 5.5, whereas here, TC's at 3.3. But let's go for a lap and let's see how it feels. I think I have more fuel in the car though at 60 litres than the Sprint one, which in iRacing. I actually make the apex this time. But I believe part of the reason why the update is so intensive is because there's also like overhauls to the Unreal Engine, which ACC is based out of, whereas iRacing uses, I believe, its own kind of engine that developers have used for games in the past. But, like, even though it's not exactly the same, the general feeling is kind of similar. I've not even begun to get close to the limits of this car yet. But apart from that, I think I prefer... I love the iRacing version. It's my go-to GT3, but I prefer the ACC one just because ACC for me is a better kind of title. For me, I run a G29 for a wheel. I'm going to have to go for another lap while talking about this just because I enjoy it so much. Now, remember I said times weren't really going to be representative. It was, what, a 59.2 in iRacing. It is going to be close. I mean, not close enough. 2:03, that's a bad time for me. Yeah, times aren't going to be representative because ACC does bops by track. And occasionally they adjust it so that it's a bit more balanced for the cars. Whereas iRacing just has one bop. And the M4's very OP in that bop. Especially in altitude tracks just because of the way the turbos work. Yeah, I've got off on a tangent for what I was saying, which was myself with the setup that I have. I don't have anything that means I can, like, you know, simulate the actual forces on the car. I don't have anything that can do seat of pants effects. So, in iRacing, I'd need to run something like IRFFB. Which, yeah, that's a separate mod that I have to run to get it to work. Whereas here, you've got that kind of feeling straight out of the box. And it just inspires confidence. I mean, look at my time. I get that I've just done it in iRacing, but it's a different thing altogether, especially with the new physics engine. So as much as I know this track in ACC, it's still a bit different if you catch my drift. Just like I caught a drift there. But overall, they're both a bit too different. If you ask me which looks nicer, ACC. If you ask me which sounds better, I'd have to say ACC, but then I'd be tempted to say iRacing just because my interpretation of what the M4 should sound like is based off of the fact that it's been in iRacing for nearly, yeah, pretty much a year at this point. And I've just beaten iRacing time. But yeah, first impressions, I like it. Don't know if it's going to actually prime me away from my beloved V12 Aston. But I like it a lot. That much could be said. Ooh. So I need to know what the limits are now on the new box. With 53 litres left in the tank, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you around. Goodbye for now.